All right, you're in the Peacock Corner. All Peacocks all the time. Not complicated. WJR here. Producer John Gunderson at Mission Control. And of course, a man who requires no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. The Alpha Peacock, Mike Schrock. Party on, Mike.
Wayne, it's great to see you again. Wondering when you're going to head back to 319 and if that's going to be anytime soon or just going to hang out up north.
Won't be long. I know we got to get down there for some sweet corn, but we'll figure that out a little bit later this summer, I think. And then, of course, I'll have my mail forwarded down here this fall. Hey, by the way, I just got some focus group stuff for us. First wave of focus group stuff. Want to let you know that they love you. Just FYI. I'll just go through a couple of them really quick. Mike is smart. Mike is handsome. Mike is awesome. More Mike, please. There's a lot of stuff like that. So your family is obviously on board. This is great.
Yeah.
My stuff that they passed along to me a little bit below the belt. I'm not going to share too much of it. Warren's hat is dirty. Warren is too close to the screen. What does that mean? I thought this was an Upper Iowa show. Why does Warren sound like he's from Canada? So stuff like that. I don't know. Weird stuff. I'll share the rest of it with you when I get down there. But we've got a guest this week, Mike, that I'm not sure if you've met him or not.
You know what? I actually have met him. I met him a couple times. He's a hard guy to sometimes catch because he's young, he's busy, he's out doing stuff, but I have been able to catch him a few times. And I tell you what, Peacock fans, you're in for a delight today. This guy gets me fired up every time I talk to him, and he's just fantastic. So, Warren, once you introduce him, let's get into it.
Summer's warming up in the bullpen. We're going to be talking about winter sports, but it's our show and we make the rules. Most folks tune in here already know that Upper Iowa is the only D2 school in the entire state of Iowa, and we love it when kids in the area choose Upper Iowa. But here's a young man coming up who chose to compete at the college level a couple of states away from here and then came back to Iowa. And now he's the new assistant coach working for Heath Grimm up for Upper Iowa men's wrestling. So everybody say hi to Spencer Mooberry. Spencer, how's Fayette treating you so far?
Man, thank you guys for having me on. Fayette's been awesome. Hitting the ground running a little bit with Coach Grimm. He's got a lot of energy and getting here and getting started, starting with this next recruiting class and getting to meet the guys and the team that's already in place has been special. And then also getting a chance to meet other coaches, administration across the board through Upper Iowa University. It really feels like a special place. And I can definitely see why people call it home.
I like the sound of all of that. Now, Mike, you can jump in at any point. I got a couple that I'm just going to drop on Spencer right away. I first tripped over you on the socials, Spencer. Every time I turn around, I'm looking through my feed, and there is another wrestling camp somewhere where you're providing instruction everywhere from Waukegan to pretty much out into central Iowa. Saw something that's going to be happening in Fayette sometime towards the end of July. So the question that I have is, how many Spencer Mooberries are there?
Hey, I just love to hustle, man. The more people I can reach in the summer, the more the youth audience I can put myself in front of. That helps build the Upper Iowa wrestling brand, my personal brand as well. The more people and programs I'm able to touch throughout the summer when we're not competing, we're not busy every weekend. The more weekends I can book into a wrestling room and show some of the stuff that I've learned and help me be successful to the younger generation, I think that's impactful. So just trying to make an impact on everybody I can.
Love
yeah,
it.
and Spencer, those people that may be a little unfamiliar with you, could you kind of take us through your wrestling journey, starting at Osage and what has led you to Upper Iowa?
Yeah, for sure. Osage, Iowa, man, the home of good wrestling, right? I think that's everyone from Osage loves wrestling and that throughout the community, right? So I grew up there, fell in love with the sport of wrestling probably early on, first, second grade. I really decided that this is what I wanted to do. Fourth grade, started taking stuff real serious. Started going to your bigger tournaments, your AAU states and stuff like that. And then just progressed. There's a great coaching staff down there. As I started to get into middle school and high school, Coach Brent Jennings, he's been there for a long time. He's had a ton of success over there. He took me under his wing, and then we had some club coaches hop in the scene too, like Trent Goodale and some of those guys. And they were all hands on board where everybody was involved. And my class, especially, I think there was like 9 of us, and we did summer tournaments all summer long. And kind of throughout that, my freshman year, we were like 4th in our conference, which was not really the Osage standard. So I got to see the cool turnaround. So my freshman year, we got 4th in our conference, I believe. Lost some dual meets we shouldn't have lost. And then my sophomore year, everybody just spent the summer training. We ended up winning a lot of big tournaments, got third at state duels, which was the first time we'd qualified for state duels in a long time. So it's back to that power tradition years, like in the early 2000s. And so then my junior year, we qualified for state duels again. I think we got fifth at state duels, but we won the individual tournament state championship as well, that was one of the coolest tournaments I've been a part of. We brought 5 guys to the state tournament. We were ranked like third as a team, maybe. West Delaware, I think, brought 12 guys, and they were like supposed to be clear favorites. And nobody even had us written into the books that we were going to win a state title that year. And we got rolling, man. We put 2 in the finals. I think we had 4 in the semis. And West Delaware had a tough tournament, so they brought 12 guys, and then it ended up being a dogfight between us and West Delaware for the team title. And we ended up coming away with it with only 5 guys. So that was really cool. A special, kind of an underdog story there. We weren't even supposed to be competing for that championship, and we ended up winning it. And then my senior year, we got second, which I got second as a junior in the individual tournament. And my senior year, I was able to cap it off with state title. Then we got second as a team as well. So after that, I committed to North Dakota State University out in Fargo. Spent 3 years out there. Was the starter for 1 year, redshirted, saw some competition my second year. And then the third year I was the main guy. I got to compete at the Big 12 tournament and stuff like that. And then the coaching staff that initially recruited me, they took jobs down at Oklahoma University. 3 out of the 4 guys that recruited me took that job. And then the 4th one was named the head coach, Obi Blanc. So I stayed 1 year after that change. That would have been my 3rd year. And that was when I was the starter. Then after that year finished up, I decided to enter the transfer portal with 2 years of eligibility remaining. I went down to Northern Illinois University, graduated with my bachelor's degree from there, took a medical redshirt there. And then this year I was able to be the starter again this year, competing at the MAC tournament. Obviously, there's a lot of ups and downs throughout the career, a lot of different injuries and surgeries and stuff. But I think that's what's going to help me become a great coach, having some different ways to view things, a different perspective on certain areas in life, and how can we continue to fill our room with positivity, but also chipping away at our goals. So I think that's a little bit of my wrestling career summed up right there. But yeah, there's been so many pivotal pieces of leadership involved in it that have helped me get to where I am today.
It's Mike and Warren here with new men's wrestling assistant coach Spencer Mooberry. Spencer, you and Coach Heath Grimm share a hometown. You're an Osage guy. He's an Osage guy. There's probably, 25 or 30 years of difference between the two of you. Help our listeners understand when you first fell on Coach Grimm's radar and when Upper Iowa fell on your radar.
Yeah, me and Coach Grimm, we had a very unique relationship. I grew up with his daughter, Emma, who was actively involved with wrestling. And that was before women's was a sanctioned sport in the state of Iowa. So she was competing on the guys' team. So she was on my team, coming to our practices and everything else. And Emma, it's a shout out to Emma. She did a lot of good things. She went to North Central, had a great college career there as well. So I got to know Coach Grimm throughout that process in high school. And then obviously I went different route for college. But then as soon as I got done with my career this year, it was how can I make an impact? And I really decided I wanted to get into the coaching realm of things. And I had a couple conversations with other universities, but Coach Grimm, it just seemed like the place I wanted to be. I came on campus, got a chance to talk to Coach Grimm, and then Hartzell, our AD, and it was a no-brainer for me. It felt like a family right away, and I knew this was a place I could come in and make an immediate impact. But Coach Grimm's there's not a better person to learn from than Coach Grimm. He's been here for a long time. He's had a lot of historic success with this program. And we're a very well-respected program across the country. So I think stepping into a role like that, in a position like that, it was really a no-brainer for me. As soon as Coach Grimm called me about the opportunity, I was like, all right, let's get this done.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point there, Spencer, that Coach Grimm has had a lot of success. He's definitely put his time into Upper Iowa. I think he might be year 26 or 27 by now. I sat next to him at an employee thing where he got a lamp or something for 25 years. Anyway, and also shout out to Emma. She's a hell of a wrestler and one tough cookie. But the question I wanted to ask you, Spencer, is joining forces with Coach Grimm as you're starting your coaching career, and he's probably more towards the tail end of his career. What is something that you're looking to learn from someone like Coach Grimm as the assistant at Upper Iowa?
Yeah, one of the biggest things, I want to be able to operate a team in the leadership sense of what Coach Grimm can do. When he steps in the room everyone respects him. Everyone stops talking and listens to him. And I think that's university wide. Normally when he walks into any room, everyone goes, what's Coach Grimm want to say? So the respect that he has throughout the university and the respect his athletes give him is something obviously I want to pick up on, and it's a trait I want to have, but also how can he win the right way? He's won the right way his whole career, a lot of class, high character people. He's producing great young men from the ages of 18 to 22. So when they graduate, they're ready to step into full-time positions. He's done a phenomenal job of that. So those are all kind of the things I'm looking to pick up on. I'm just constantly picking his brain daily, learning from him on the small details of a wrestling coach. It's obviously there's more to a wrestling coach than just wrestling practice. So how can I continue to adapt to those skills and learn what Coach Grimm has done for the past 27, 28 years, just to continue to become the best version of myself and the best coach Mooberry I can be.
Let me flip it around, Spencer, on that. Your job now at Fayette is to make Coach Grimm's job easier. Everybody's good at something. Some people are good at a lot of things. What is it that you have under the hood uniquely that you think will help Coach drive the program even to further heights?
Yeah, I'm not going to get on my own boat a little bit, but I think I'm a very high level wrestler. I think I've got great technique, technical skills. I've been able to learn from some of the best Division I coaches in the country and some of the best Division I athletes in the country. But I think off the mat wise, my relationship building, I'm able to go up and shake somebody's hand. I'm able to build a relationship with everybody I talk to. I think that's kind of what sets me apart a little bit in today's day and age is I'm hungry, I'm energetic. I want to go meet people. I want to go shake people's hands. Like you guys were talking about a little bit with that camp situation. How can I get out there and create as many relationships as possible? And that helps make an impact on our brand as Upper Iowa Wrestling. When people know who I am and people know the face, and when I want to go talk to people, I have those relationships throughout the whole state of Iowa and then dipping into the other states of the Midwest as well as much as possible. So then when they see me, they know that it's Upper Iowa Wrestling and we can continue to build a positive relationship in that sense.
Yeah, you talked about your relationship building, and one of the questions I want to ask you, Spencer, is you've taken this role on now. You're coaching 18 through 22-year-olds at the college Division II level, but also you're doing a lot of camps or wrestling rooms. I see you've got one coming up in Waukon here. Pretty soon you're doing one in Fayette, and the age level of those wrestlers is quite a bit younger and it's quite a bit larger. How is your ability to reach those kids at their level going to help spread the word of Upper Iowa, the program? But I'm also interested, I should have framed this question better, but how is it that you're able to take a seventh grader and a high school senior in the same room, let's say at Waukon, and give them things at their level that they can go out and use and be more successful? What is it about you that you're able to do that?
Yeah, I think when you think of the sport of wrestling, it's actually not as complex as some people would think. It's a lot of it's the same stuff you learn from third grade and up that people are using in the college level. So being able to break it down into seventh or fifth through ninth graders can understand it. And then having your ninth through 12th graders or high school kids really be able to hone in on those fine details. I think the game of wrestling is fine details. It's the small things that win big matches. And that's something, obviously, that's an approach I have is how can we do the smallest things right? So then we're always putting ourselves in success. If we're able to hold position, we're able to win the hand fight, we're able to create angles, like that kind of stuff. That's stuff that all age groups can use. Obviously, there's different ways to frame it for the audience. I think as you get older and you develop those skills where you're already pretty good at them, there's some smaller things to look for, but versus when you're a younger athlete trying to learn these skills, you can be a little bit more general and broad with some of that kind of stuff.
It is about the little things, Spencer, and you're right. At the tip top of it, wrestling is very transactional. You either win or you lose, and wrestlers are often measured by that. You spend a lot of time in wrestling rooms, you're in a lot of gyms, you look at a lot of kids. And by the way, every camp you go to and make 100 impressions, you're handing out 100 business cards. So keep doing that. That's awesome. But for your unique lens, what do you see? What do you look for in a young wrestler to kind of measure potential for growth, becoming a good high school wrestler, potentially even wrestling beyond high school? What are some of those intangibles that you look for?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously, I want everyone to be a good wrestler that I recruit, but the biggest thing for me is how do they handle themselves, whether it's win or lose? How are we handling ourselves? Let's say we lost. How are we shaking the kid's hand? How can we control our emotions? And then another thing, like in match, I'm looking for a lot of effort. People that are willing to wrestle through every position. They're not getting up 4 points and then kind of shutting the offense down. I like people with high pace, effort, people who respond well with their emotions, whether it's win or lose, staying composed, being calm, being present in the moment, but not overselling themselves. So yeah, big thing is effort, being able to wrestle that whole match. I think you see it a lot in high school and in college, or people get up a couple points and they shut down and then they end up losing the match because they're on skates essentially. You know what I mean? They're just trying to survive for a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Then that's when you forget about the small details. So I think people who can, when I'm looking at high school athletes or middle school athletes, it's people who wrestle hard, want to be there, effort and attitude. They're showing up with the right intentions. They're excited to be there. And then they're wrestling hard through the whole match or through the whole practice. They're asking questions. People that love the sport, it's really easy to surround yourself with, right? I'm able to help. As long as you want to be there, I'm willing to be there too. That's kind of how I look at it. And I think that's what's fun about it. Our guys now in college are really responding well to that. And I think kind of being able to go through the fire a little bit with them, being young, I can lift with the guys, I can wrestle with the guys. I think that's stuff that they're responding super well to. And then also kind of these fine details and then the energy levels I've brought to the room, I think they're responding well too. I know I kind of got into our guys a little bit. It's exciting.
That's it. That might be a good segue to the next question I'm going to ask Spencer. You've been there a short time. You said you've gotten to meet some of the guys. I want to talk about our returners and those kids coming back. And again, it's probably not a fair question to you because you're so new, but what have you seen of our returning team that you're really going, yeah, we got something here? And just talk about the team that we're going to see next year.
Yeah, I think this is a team that's going to surprise a lot of people. Very young team last year. And man, I'll tell you, these guys work. They want to work hard. They're sponges. They soak up all the knowledge on the table. They're excited to be there. They've responded just super well to this offseason, this spring. Obviously, a lot of the guys didn't get what they wanted. And then we're bringing back a guy like Lawson Losey, who tore his ACL last year, was ranked second in the country when he tore his ACL. Bringing back some of that senior leadership. And then we're adding some people. Obviously, our 2026 class is a pretty good class for high school. And then we're bringing in a couple transfers as well, who we're excited about. So we look at a very well-rounded roster, a team that would definitely want to compete for the conference title. We want to punch tickets to the national tournament, especially with it being in our backyard, right? It's Cedar Rapids this year, so that's exciting. One thing I've been preaching to the guys is we're trophy hunting in our backyard. I think that's something they're responding well. Because last time we were here, Chase Lundsman won a national title. And then I think it was 2018 or 2019, we hosted it too. And I think we got fourth in the national tournament as a team, or third, not quite sure on that. But so every time, the last couple times it's been in Cedar Rapids, we've had great performances. So how can these guys use that as a standard and motivation almost, right? It's like you're looking at it every time we've hosted in the past years, we've had a great showing. So now it's on these guys' shoulders. Obviously, not all on their shoulders. It's on my shoulders and Coach Grimm's shoulders as well. But they've responded super well, and it's just a little bit of added motivation. We've done our best to put the best lineup together for the fans and the community and supporters of Upper Iowa, and now it's time to get to work with the guys we have.
The gym can get pretty rowdy to meet. You'll find out for yourself soon enough. I still think that Howie Thompson is the hardest working man in Fayette, but Spencer, you're moving up really fast on the list. Thanks for your time on a busy Thursday. Welcome to Fayette. I hope to bump into you this fall. I'm down for a few games. Thank you for your time this afternoon, though.
I do have one final question for Spencer, and I'm gonna put him on the spot here. All right. So you and Grimm, mano a mano, takedowns to 3. Who's the winner?
Hey, this is a good question. I'm not going to bet against myself, so I'm going to say myself. But hey, shout out to Coach Grimm. He's very good wrestler. So
we should probably get Coach Grimm to sign into the chat on that one, Mike.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Spencer. Really good. Spencer Newberry, new assistant coach for Upper Iowa men's wrestling. I don't know about you, Mike, but I think Spencer seems like a pretty good hire. I think he's going to be a really good fit in Fayette.
All right, I tell you what, coming to a high school near you, Spencer's going to be out there recruiting. Like he said, Upper Iowa Wrestling, very excited about having this guy. I know Grimm was overjoyed, as well as Rick Hartzell. He's a high energy guy. He's very studious of the sport. and he's just a really good technique teacher already in his young career. So a blessing to have him in our wrestling room. I'm not going to lie, I've seen a little bit of a giddy up in Coach Grimm too, if that's even possible. So he's been excited. And I tell you what, check out Upper Iowa Wrestling this winter. It's going to be fun.
Mature beyond his years too. Really a breath of fresh air. Really cool talking to him. We wish him well. I think he's going to have a lot of success in Fayette. Looking forward to seeing some more of that. Mike and Warren back in the Peacock Corner. We offer a new segment this fine Thursday afternoon, and it's called Keeping Up with the Hilmers. Let's start with Austin. We'll extend congratulations to Austin Hilmer joining the Iowa Central Community College men's basketball staff. The Tritons were 28-8 last winter and averaged 90 points a game, so that's a pace that kind of fits with Austin Hilmer's default settings. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. And Iowa Central, they're getting a heck of a coach. He's just third generation now in the coaching Hilmers. Obviously, Grandpa was a fantastic coach. His dad, fantastic coach. And even if you watch Austin play, and I'll throw Jake into this as well, but we're talking about Austin, so studious of the game, understands it very well, sees it differently than most people, but also he's a guy who can step in and coach people, coach kids to emulate the things that need to be done to play winning basketball. What a great opportunity for Austin. I think he's going to kill it over there.
Sons of coaches make fine players, and as it turns out, they make pretty good coaches too. So good luck to Austin in Fort Dodge. We wish him well. We'll keep an eye on his progress out there. Speaking of the Hilmer family, Austin's brother Jake, perhaps you've heard of him, recently wrapped up his second season of pro ball in Europe, leading his team in Finland to a 17-5 record and a league championship. Jake was named finals MVP, capping a terrific season where he averaged 24 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals per game, or as we like to say, just another night in Fayette. That's pretty much what he did in Fayette. He did that for an entire season over there in Finland. Have you happened to bump into Jake? Has he been to Fayette? Because I understand he's back in the States right now, Mike.
I haven't seen him lately, but I do, like you, Warren, and many other Peacock faithful and Northland faithful, do follow Jake quite a bit, whether it's social medias or whatever. Of course, they're on a time differential there, so sometimes watching the games is a little difficult, a little past my bedtime, or a little too early in the morning, maybe. Yeah, but I tell you what, Jake Hilmer is one of those kids when you say refuse to lose, that's him. He just doesn't like to lose. And everywhere he's gone, he's been successful. And we know Jake, we know what a great young man he is. I think when basketball is done for him, he's just going to continue to win in whatever he does. I think Jake too will jump into that coaching role at some point. I don't know when that is. I'd enjoy him playing still, so I'd like him to play as long as he could. But in the future, we'll see another Hilmer coaching somewhere, hopefully in Iowa, so we can follow him easier.
It seems like he gets a little bit better every year. I remember between his junior and senior seasons, all of a sudden he became very skilled at getting to a spot near the basket, kind of almost in the low block. Now, mind you, he is 5'11" tall, and he was often being guarded by people that were 3, 4, 5 inches taller than him, but he always found a way to get a quality shot off when he was very near the basket. And I thought that was remarkable for a guy no bigger than that. And again, when he first came to Fayette, that wasn't part of his game, but he worked on that in the gym. That's just hours in the gym working with it. And I thought that was very impressive. I would also say this, I just have a mental list of athletes born in Iowa that I have seen play. And besides Tim DeWhite, Cooper DeJean, Chris Street, and Caitlin Clark, I can't think of anybody that is more exciting to watch than Jake Hilmer at Dorman Gym.
Oh, yeah, I'd absolutely agree. I got a funny story about Jake. His freshman year at Upper Iowa. See, my wife had never seen him play in high school. So I took my wife. She came up to a Upper Iowa game with me and got to see Jake play for the first time as a freshman. And we got in the car and she said, that Jake, he's really good, but God, he seems like such an asshole. And I said, oh, no. I said, you're confusing that with his competitiveness and he wants to win. I said, the next game that we go to, I'm going to introduce you to him after the game. And so the next game she went to, I introduced them and she goes, yeah, I take that back. He's one of the nicest young men I've ever met. And I'm like, it's just how he's able to flip that switch just like that when he's on the basketball court and then when he comes off. Just a great human being. But my wife was one of those that didn't understand that there is a switch there that gets flipped on and off.
Yep. For the elite athletes, it's a switch, and just bing, it's just like that. It's on, and you don't want to talk to the person when they're in that mode, but then after they switch off, then you're just going, who was that guy? Not bad. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on Jake. Looking forward to getting him back to Iowa. And boy, it'd be fun if we could get a Hilmer on this show sometime. Let's stick a pin in that. See if we can keep up with the Hilmers that way. It'd be fun.
Yeah, they might be too big time for us. So now, Warren, they're coaching and winning championships and stuff. They might be too big time for us.
We might have to throw in a bucket of DT's chicken. I didn't even have to play the chicken card on Spencer Mooberry. He just said yes right away. I have to throw some chicken at the Hilmers. Hey, next, the Peacock Corner wishes to salute all the spring sport athletes who received postseason Great Lakes Valley Conference honors. Second team all GLVC honors go to, in baseball, senior right-hander Gabe Olson from Hopkins, Minnesota, just one town away over from where I'm at right now. Gabe started 12 games and went 8-2, struck out 55 opponents. In softball, redshirt sophomore Danny Laughlin from Riverside, Iowa, 410 average, 55 hits, and 15 RBIs led all Peacocks. She was on base, I think, like 48% of the time. Who does that? Certainly not me when I played baseball. And then in men's and women's golf, Owen Davidson from La Crescent, Minnesota, a senior, and Addison Weber from your neck of the woods, a sophomore from Rowley, Iowa, receiving second team all Great Lakes Valley Conference honors. So congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, great honors for those kids you just mentioned, Warren. And I'll add to that, this past weekend, we just had commencement at Upper Iowa. So we had to say goodbye to a lot of great senior student athletes from Upper Iowa. I don't have the exact number that graduated, but sad to see some of those guys walk away. Daryl Overstreet, for an example, you spend 4 years, you watch them grow as athletes and also as humans. They just become more mature as part of the process. And you followed them for so long, and then they have to go after 4 years. And I thought after 8 years, it would get easier, and it never is. But the silver lining in that is we have a whole batch of new freshmen and transfers coming in next year in all sports. And it'll be fun to get to know those kids and watch them elevate their play and who they are as people as well. So it's a double-edged sword, if you will.
Yep, that's correct, Mike. We only get them for a little while. The real problem would be if they stuck around for 12 years trying to get their degree. We're glad that they're in and out of here in 4 years' time to make room for the new group of student athletes coming in. Real quick, honorable mention, all GLVC honors to senior outfielder Jared Hoodger from Janesville, Iowa. 48 hits on the season, including 9 home runs, and he hit .385 in conference games. So congratulations to Jared. And James R. Spalding Sportsmanship Award honorees to 4 athletes: freshman outfielder Jace Klug from Stewartville, Minnesota in baseball. In men's golf, junior Christian Burkhart from Urbana. In women's golf, senior Lizzie Ellis from Gravette, Arkansas. And finally, in softball, junior outfielder Kara Dunham from Lincoln, Illinois. So congratulations to all of the honorees.
Yeah, well-deserved honors. And Christian Burkhart actually just lives a couple blocks from me here in Urbana. So I was pretty tickled to see that. And he was another one that went ahead and graduated this last weekend. He will be moving on to pre-law, I believe. Excited for him and what's to come. And I'm sure he's going to continue golfing, right? That's something that never goes away.
So he is done golfing at Fayette.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yep.
All right. If he ever comes back to Fayette, and if I ever wind up in a foursome with him, I'm going to ask him to give me a stroke a hole, 2 strokes on the par 5s, and I'm going to need a tee box too. But stick a pin in that. We'll come back to that. So yeah, congratulations to all the honorees. Now we're coming towards the end here, but at the buzzer, I want to find out from you, Mike, if there is any room for any more foursomes for the Peacock Classic on June the 5th.
Oh man, we have room for foursomes, 8somes, your brothers, uncles, cousins, dogs, whoever. And if we don't have room, we'll make room. We'll make room for you. I'm telling you, this Peacock Golf Classic is so fun every summer. And come out, have a few drinks, a few waters, enjoy a nice little meal, golf with some buddies, get to meet the athletic coaches, the administration. Maybe some of our athletes will be out there. I'll be out there. I don't know if I'm a big enough personality to meet, but I'll be out there on a hole. Love to chat with you. But yeah, get your foursome signed up. We're getting really close. June 5th is when that's going to happen. It's a Friday. And who wants to work on Friday, right? Why don't you come golf with us? Let's have some fun at Big Rock.
Now you're talking. I like the sound of that. Mike, unless you have anything, I believe that is all that we've got for this afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. For John Gunderson and the Alpha Peacock Mike Schrock, I'm Warren. We'll see you next time.